Hello there, welcome to Genesis Models. My name is Bobby Warden and welcome to this new step-by-step. It's going to be of the AH-64D Apache Longbow. Now this is by Takom and it is in 1/35 scale, so a nice big scale to get some nice detail going on with this kit. Now with this build I'm going to be going at it in a sort of an intermediate sort of level, so anything sort of basic we'll probably just skip and just move along with what's intermediate, what's advanced, probably speed things up a bit as well. Now with this kit, it is a brand spanking new tool, right? This has just been released this year, so it is all new. Things like aftermarket parts and stuff, can't really get hold of them right now. So things like I've already noticed with the cockpit that, you know, some nice photo etch would have been nice with, say, some seat belts, but because that kind of stuff isn't available yet, we're going to probably have to go off and do some scratch building of our own, and we might find a couple of things along the way as well, because of it being a new kit, that we haven't got all those nice little added extras. But probably won't need it actually, because it's looking pretty cool if you haven't seen the inbox review already. Now as I say, we're going to be going at this in intermediate style. Also just to bear in mind is that, you know, just to kind of let you know the kind of things we're going to be tackling with this. I mean, obviously any sort of fit issues and that kind of stuff, but with helicopters I do find that the kind of the weathering and the spraying side of things is kind of a mix between a aircraft and an armored vehicle, right? So gonna see you know, the whole weathering and spraying side of things being a little bit different, a bit of a mix between, as I say, an aircraft and an armored vehicle. You know, we're probably going to go off and have it in some sort of a, you know, Iraq, Afghanistan kind of thing, so we're probably talking that bit of a sandy, dusty kind of look to this aircraft as well. We are going to be doing, I'm not really going to get any aftermarket parts, so we are probably going to do a US Army scheme as well, probably maybe one of those shark teeth or something along those lines. I mean, as we build along, I mean, maybe I might see something and want to try something. Maybe those Hellfire missiles. I do believe Eddard does do some nice resin Hellfires. Maybe we'll get some of them in and take a look at that. So without further ado, let's get cracking and let's get some building done. I've already gone off and I've done some building, just building this together. I have found that because it's quite open and quite big, that you can actually glue quite a bit of it together. Most of it's going to be black as well, so it kind of does save us having all these lots of little bits of pieces all over the place. But where I want to start you off with is the canopy side of things, right? With this, what you'll see is actually there is a lot of areas on this clear part here that don't have just pure glass, right? We do need to actually go off and spray the inside of this canopy, right, which is not normally what I would do. Normally you can really get away with not doing that kind of thing, but with this one, because it's so big and so much of it, and you're going to be able to see inside here just so much, that, you know, we really do want to actually, you know, tackle the inside. So yeah, for this particular model we are gonna mask up first. Right now we haven't got any pre-brought canopy mask, so we're gonna have to make our own. So I'm just getting out, this is jammy dog tape. You could probably just Google it and find it in lots of different places. You could go off and use, I mean, Tamiya's, is this the 6mm? Yeah, the Tamiya 6mm. You can sort of get away with that, but really what you want is your masking tape to be as thin as possible. As I say, I mean, you could use 6mm. I mean, you know, if you can't get hold of some jammy dog tape, we can just what I like to do is we can just slice down even a bit of Tamiya masking tape like so, right? And you could actually make your own nice little thin strip if you want to. No harm in doing that, because Tamiya masking tape is quite good. But I'm going to use this jammy dog tape just here. Now what we're going to do is, when we're making our own canopy masks, right, let's just get you in a little bit closer actually. We want to, you know, find a corner right, and I'm just going to pinch that down, right, round about where we want it to be, leaving a little bit over on the edge. Then what I'm going to do is we've got a nice straight bit here, so I'm going to actually kind of like pinch one end right into the corner, and then with one motion just come all the way down. We don't want to sort of bring it down slowly across, right, because we don't want to be doing that. And then what I like to do is, this is like a little bit of a curve, so I'm just going to pinch into there, and then I'm going to pull this, right, and because it's nice and thin, we should, if you just kind of pinch it in the right place and then bring it round, and then again pull it so it is going to the next corner just there. Right, you may have to get your nails in there and maybe sort of like push into the corner a bit. Right, but there we go. And then again, getting our nail, pinching that down, and again, this one's a bit of a bigger curve, so it's kind of like maybe I'm sort of pushing my nail in and working away. Hopefully you can see me sort of going with that curvature. Then when I get to the straight bit, hold it down and then bring that down. You know, just kind of think from point A to point B is kind of like the good way, best way to get a nice straight line, right? And we can follow that process all the way around. What you could then come in and do is, yes, we could potentially come in with maybe like 6mm, 10mm Tamiya masking tape, right, and we can begin to actually, you know, sort those inside bits there and kind of work our way around. We haven't got to be so careful because we've got that first bit down, the blue jammy dog tape, kind of getting us all nicely sort of, you know, nice and neat around the edges, and then we can just fill it in with the masking tape. However, I mean, you could go off, I mean, we have all sorts of products out there. I mean, we've got Mascal, you know, from Humbro, you know, just got loads here. I mean, Ammo does them as well, liquid masks, whatever product manufacturer, it doesn't matter, same thing, right? You could paint that on as well. It's totally up to you. Wouldn't use that kind of stuff though if you dip your canopy, which by the way, you don't have to dip the canopies on these. These are probably the best canopies I have seen in all my years of doing this. It is so crystal clear. I know my fingerprints are all over it, but just kind of polish that up a bit. I mean, you don't have to polish these up, you know, just make sure you kind of clean off all my fingerprints, and they are really nice crystal clear canopies. So I'll go around and finish all these up. One other quick way I want to sort of show you as well of doing canopies, right, is when you've got those sharp 90-degree angles, right, what we can do, if we bring you in, right, is we can find those long edges like so. Just make sure you get it, you know, again, just nice and straight, as perfect as possible along those edges, right, just like so. Get in another piece, maybe actually go for the 6mm because that was a 10mm. Right, there's only a little bit left to do just there. As less on here as possible, because when they overlap they are a little bit harder to cut. Right, maybe just a little bit off with that one. So with that on there now, this is where for those sharp edges, right, a good nice number 11 blade, right, preferably at this stage a nice fresh new blade. I mean, the better your blade cuts, the easier this is going to be. Now what you're going to do is you're going to feel like little sort of raised and recessed bits depending on the piece itself. I can just feel a nice line across there, but really it's a case of going off, putting it up to some light, right, so you can see, as I can just see, I mean, you'll have to trust me, you can see through this masking tape, so you can see that line and just very carefully run your blade along that line. Right, so bring you back to the camera. I've just cut along that line there, so then basically I should be able to just peel that up like so, and you will see that we've got a nice cut piece just there, and we can do the same along here. You could use an iPhone as well. You could put your iPhone on the table and put the camera light on, and you can see through that way. But really it is kind of best just running up to a light like this, and then just running your nice new clean sharp blade all the way along that line. I know some people don't have a steady hand. You know, it is probably better for you guys to actually maybe buy the canopy masks. But yeah, there is another one, and we can just peel that up. So that one's there all basically done. Just another way of going about it when you've got those sharp angles, when you've got curves. You know, it's good to use those kind of nice fine bits of masking tape. Right, these have all been done now. Now, what you'll notice is I've just masked the inside. You know, we're working on the inside, working on the cockpit and everything. I'm not going to do the outside yet, because when I sort of remove the canopy from the inside, I want to make sure everything's fine by looking through the opposite side rather than wait until the end to see what the results are. So that's the canopies for now. Now we've got a bit of photo etch with it. Well, we've got quite a lot of photo etch with this kit. So getting the photo etch off of the fret. Now I do have this. This is what you have to something that sandwiches. This is, I think it was by RB Productions, brought it years ago. They probably don't sell them anymore, but something where you can get like a tile or something along those lines, right? Something really nice and solid. Again, you know, something solid to put on top, and you're all about sandwiching, so you know, a bit of creativity trying to find something. And what we need to do, well, first off, it's kind of cool actually, these do come with this bit of plastic film. Right, now we're after this lovely little piece here, number 4, just to start off with. And what this is all about, going off, getting a nice sharp blade. This is a number 9 blade just on here, and what we want to do is, if we bring you in as close as we can get you, right, we're going to basically sandwich this piece number 4. I'm going to butt up my blade to where the fret meets our piece. Right, so it's nice and lined up. Then I'm going to sandwich it with our other piece. Right, so this is nice and sandwiched, and what it's all about is making sure that we're not going to end up bending our photo etch at all, because it's sandwiched between basically 2 hard plates. Right, now what you'll notice as I cut is I am rocking. Right, I'm not dragging, slicing, sawing or anything like that. I am rocking. Right, that's how we want to cut it. Right, so hopefully, right, I mean this is on a bit of plastic here, so you've probably got a little bit more to do. Maybe you might have to go back over a couple of pieces of fret, but that is basically what you're trying to do. So that is now off of the fret all nicely, no bends or anything that in it. We then, I mean, Tamiya does do a really nice diamond foil here, right? Really good for photo etch. I like to get out some sort of a nice flat kind of nosed set of tweezers, and anywhere where we might have any kind of bit of the fret sort of sticking up, I mean I can just see and I can feel just a little bit there. You know, again, we're sandwiching, using tweezers this time to actually sandwich that photo etch. So again, we're not going to bend that photo etch, and it really does not take a lot. I mean, not much pressure, and that little bit of a tab there has been nicely sanded off. It's really not much pressure at all, so don't apply too much pressure because you don't need it. You're just going to end up sort of maybe bending something, and it's just a case of, you know, we can just sort of feel and actually we're feeling actually quite good. I mean, a lot of the time, you know, you cut it just right and you don't really have to do much. So that is our first bit of photo etch, nicely cut off of the fret. So now we have to do a bit of bending. Well, this bit of photo etch wants to go in there, but it's got to have two bends inside there. So when it comes to doing some bends, I mean, there's lots and lots of ways. I mean, this is kind of a bit on the basic kind of side of bending. I'm not seeing much in the regards to that, so probably no need to get out proper bending templates and stuff. I mean, you know, we could use these by Tamiya. We have these bending pliers, right? We have like a mini and a normal one. You could actually use bits of tweezers. It's basically the same thing. You know, so I'll just quickly show you the tweezers actually. So what we want to do here, right, is whenever we do any kind of bending, it's all about sort of, you know, again, we're sandwiching, so we're not bending anywhere we don't want to. Put in our tweezers, lining it up with the bend, right, and this is a fairly easy bend. We can just I'm gonna make sure I'm getting this the right way. Yeah, we're just kind of like try and maybe come in with something hard, and we just bend that up, right? I'm kind of looking at it as around about the angle that you want it, right? Sometimes you've just got to kind of go with your gut on the whole what angle it is, right? So I'm bending it a bit. I've got to turn this over because you'll normally see on one side there's like where they want you to bend, you'll see like a little bit of almost like a recessed panel line. Right, so again I'll give that a bit of a bend. Right, now that is now around about the way that wants to be. Right, ish. Have I got it the right way around? Nope. Flip that over. There we go. So that is going to drop in there, right? In this case, right, maybe a little bit more bending, right? If I can just sort of get into place. Maybe I shouldn't have put this joystick in so soon. Probably would have helped, but yeah, that's going to go basically there. And I'm just looking at it. Actually, those bends don't look too bad. So we could probably go straight off and start doing some gluing. Just a quick one, just do appreciate if you go check out the Genesis Models website. It's where you're going to see all these episodes and all the other videos that we have here at Genesis Models, teaching you how to be a professional modeler, even down to like inbox reviews, product reviews, tutorials, all that good stuff. So please go check out genesismodels.co.uk. It does help support this channel and support making these videos. But anyway, back to the gluing of photo etch. Now when it comes to gluing photo etch, there's lots of glues that we can use, and I do tend to find that sometimes it's best to use super glue or PVA glue or microcrystal clear, even stuff like prick stick and all sorts of different glues you can use. You know, microcrystal clear is probably one of the best ones to use, the most safest ones to use. Again, this is just PVA glue basically. It just dries to a nice crystal clear finish. You know, technically you could just use PVA glue, especially in this case because we've got no clear parts around here. And what I like about the you know, things like microcrystal clear is we can sort of, you know, you don't have to be very sort of careful with it ish, right? Not as if like if you was using say super glue, I mean you would sort of have to be very careful because it glues so quickly. You'd have to make sure that it goes down where you want it straight away. But with our, you know, microcrystal clear here, I'm just gotta make sure I'm gluing this the right way around. I think it's this way, yes. So I'm just gonna like paste on, you know, I mean we can get quite liberal with this, right? You know, we can clean up whatever mess happens down the line, right? So I don't mind just whacking it on, and all we've got to do is just kind of place this in here like so. Let's bring you in a little bit closer. I know that joystick's sort of in the way a bit, but you know, I've got it sort of in that general area. Looks quite good. Maybe leave that just for a little bit to bite while we go off and get maybe sort of like a cotton wool bud. With the cotton wool buds, we can just clean up what's oozed out. As you can see, there's a little bit oozed out just there. Maybe give it a little bit of a lick. Right, and we could just very carefully just wipe it, because I mean, I suppose the one thing is with things like PVA glues, they don't sort of bite down too quickly. As you can see, that's moved just a little bit. Right, so maybe sort of try and roll that cotton wool bud a little bit. Right, don't drag it so we don't move it. Right, and I think we've got most of the oozed out bits, so I'm just going to just lightly press that down. Right, and that should just really nicely glue into place. We ain't got to really worry about that much now. Spraying on top of it will sort of kind of lock it down a bit more as well. Kind of acts like a bit of a glue in itself. But there you go, there's just gluing down a bit of photo etch. We have got a load more to go along the line, so I can show you the different glues and different ways of going about it. But that's just like, you know, getting us started. So sadly, that is the end of episode 1. Now in episode 2 we are gonna start to move along, probably going off and spraying and painting, weathering and all sorts of good stuff to bring our cockpit to life. So far, after building this, I mean, you can sort of normally tell in scale modeling that, you know, once you start gluing in a couple of pieces, you can kind of sort of tell how the rest of the build's gonna go. I mean, generally, you know, you start gluing in some bits on a cockpit and you're kind of like, oh, this isn't fitting very well the rest of the kit, you know, you're gonna have problems, and you normally do. But yeah, this has glued together quite nicely. I haven't really had any sort of major problems with it, so I'm kind of anticipating the rest of the build is probably going to go together rather well. I have been doing a little bit of research on a couple of cool things that I sort of wouldn't mind trying out, some new things. Keep it a bit of a secret for now, but yeah, we'll hopefully see some cool stuff coming along in a couple of episodes down the line, so hopefully you'll stick around for that. But until the next episode, as always, my name's Bob Waldron, this is Genesis Models, and I hope you've enjoyed.